Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7. I am back with another VR Sunday video and we're racing in Group 4 at Dragon Trail Gardens. And yeah, this is quite a short race, but we're going to have a couple of goes at this. And I think you're going to agree that VR is just so much more intense. Well, it was for me when I was racing this. Let's take a look at this race. So we're starting from the back of the grid, round P12 on my main account this time. Just did a very quick lap, we literally had one lap to get a lap in. So straight away, acceleration on the Citroen a little bit better than the McLaren there off the start, and that's going to give us a chance to get ourselves up a position in this first race that we're doing. So straight away up into P11, I think it is there. So unfortunately, you can see it's quite hard to see what position you're in because it's only a little bit of writing that shows you what position you're currently in. And yeah, first thing you might notice as we just about avoid the chaos through there is the visibility on this Citroen is not particularly great. You can see it's very narrow. I could hardly see where I was going. So trying to race this in VR was an extremely big challenge. You can see also the wing mirrors, very small triangle that you get a very narrow margin of visibility. So somehow managed to get ourselves up a few positions there in the hairpin and get ourselves up into P9 there on this opening lap. So a decent start from us from, I think P12 is where we started. But yeah, you can see it's just such a small cockpit, but an amazing car. It's amazing inside when you're in VR, this car. It's absolutely brilliant. But yeah, you don't get much visibility at all. It is so limited. Whoever designed this car, if this is the visibility on this car, I would not want to race this in real life because it would be horrendous. You cannot see hardly anything when driving this. So you can see again here, we have that little narrow wing mirror there where I can see the Alpha going for a move up on the inside. Luckily, we can brake a little bit later, hold that line. He runs a little bit wide there onto the curb, and that means we don't have to defend into the next chicane, which again, this is very tricky, this chicane. You've got to get it lined up. So we have a Ferrari spinning off, got to get it lined up over them sausages, and again, slightly harder to do in VR to get it perfect, especially when you've got a car right in front of you and your visibility is basically taken up by a small bit on your windscreen. It's just not much you can do. It's very difficult. But we can see up ahead in P6 we have another penalty there, so we're going to fast forward our way through these corners until we get a little bit closer there, and you can see as he's about to take this penalty, we might be able to gain another position. So he's going to take that penalty from P6, dropping himself down to P7. We're going to try and put ourselves up into P7 in the braking zone, braking a little bit later, and just about hanging on and keeping that car on the track. So up into P7, a decent start so far for us in this daily race. Be a little moment on the rear there. You can really see how catching the rear with the steering wheel from this view as well. That little bit of reaction to save it there, and now working our way up to start another lap. So now we're on to lap 3. We've got the Ferrari in front of us. We're going to try and chase that down and see if we can get ourselves up into the top 6, which so far is going quite well this race considering where we started. And it was our first attempt on, just jumped on. No real practice in VR. I'm definitely getting a little bit more used to doing that now, just jumping onto the VR, but it does take me a few laps to really start to find the pace. So yeah, it just takes a little bit of warming up really. You can see now we're getting that slipstream from the Ferrari, and we are going to go for one of our fakes. Let's see if we can make this work in VR. It's a lot more difficult in VR. So we go to the right, we're going to go underneath, brake late. You can see we get the braking done, slow the car down. However, we're going to go a little bit wide, and I go into first gear by mistake there. Should have kept it in second, and boom, we've crashed. I tried to hit the pause button just before I hit the wall to stop getting the penalty. So if you don't know about that, if you manage to get on the pause button just in time before you hit the wall, you do stop yourself getting the wall penalty. It's a weird glitch at the moment. However, when I'm in VR, I could hardly see, I can't see anything. You don't know where your buttons are, so I just didn't get there quick enough, and unfortunately we ended up finishing the race right at the back of that one. But I was going to go again, and this race was super intense in VR. This is one of the most intense races I've had, I have to say, just because it's in VR, and it was just so enjoyable to do. Racing this close with other cars, it's brilliant in VR. I absolutely love this when we're doing this. The immersion is through the roof, 100 times more intense in VR than when you're on a 2D screen. It's just the visibility, it just isn't enough. Obviously, I think my pace is definitely slower, although we did manage a reasonable lap in this VR as well. So pace was getting there on the second attempt, not too bad at all. But yeah, starting from P5, I improved my lap for this one, as you can see, and we've all got through that first chicane without any incident, and we're working our way up. So the McLaren's in front of us. So yeah, 3 McLarens in front of us, and we know that the McLaren is very quick on top end. It's quicker than the Citroen, so it's going to be very difficult to get past these cars. We're going to have to do, or wait for them to make a mistake, or just get them in the braking zone somewhere. But through here, you can see, trying to get that corner lined up so we can rotate into this left-hand corner, and you can see, yeah, the car in front just dabbing the brakes a little bit through there. obviously trying to get a bit of rotation, and now we're going through these really long, multiple right-hand corners where it's all about just very patiently waiting on that throttle before you put the power down. So being patient there, getting on the throttle, getting a much better exit than that McLaren in front of us, and now we've got that slipstream. Can we go for a move into this braking zone? Very good overtaking opportunity. This might be an opportunity for us to go for. Late on the brakes, later than the McLaren, up the inside, rotate the car with second gear, then back up to third gear, and we've got that move really nicely done. And again, a little moment on the rear there where we just get on the power, but manage to keep hold of that. But he has got that slipstream now behind us. Will he go for a move? I can't really see where he is. You can see I'm looking at the radar because that's all I can see. It's better visibility on the radar than it is through the mirrors. And at this moment you can see we're just ahead of him on the inside, and we're now just holding that apex onto the throttle, and we've managed to keep the car ahead. He has gonna have a little look. You can just see in that wing mirror he had a little look up the inside there, but didn't brake late enough, and now we've just got to try and hit this corner perfectly, which we do the first part really well, second part almost spot on, and that's give us a little bit of a gap now to P4, so we can focus on that podium. So skipping ahead to the end of lap 2 now, and you can see we're going to go over the line with a purple lap. Fastest lap of the race, 39.2. It's not a terrible lap considering we just jumped on this in VR, so pretty happy with that pace there on that lap. Not bad at all. Still half a second off my non-VR pace, but yeah, I'm sure with a bit of practice we could get that fairly close. So now into the chicane, and now once you're following a car through here, it is very difficult. You can see I had to bail out of taking the over the sausage right in the middle. Had to go around the right hand side and take the safe route there because I just couldn't see where I'm going with this car with the very narrow window that you're looking through, and obviously with the McLaren in front of us, it's very, very difficult to spot where that sausage was. So yeah, we're now going through this left hand corner onto the throttle as early as we can, trying to keep that throttle input smooth as well, because as you can see there from P2, it's very easy to lose the rear, as P2 does exactly that. And P3 goes for the move, puts himself up into P2. Tom there going for the move, getting himself up into P2, and now we're behind the Spanish driver in front of us, also in the McLaren. So this is going to get a little bit more intensive now on these final few corners of lap 3. So through here, you can see just trying to gradually find where that grip is before we go full on the throttle. But you can see P3 has got a really nice run. The Spanish driver, a very nice run on Tom in P2 there. He's probably going to go for a move. He's sticking to the left hand side. He's going to go to the right hand side. Will he go for a move here? Let's see if he's going to go for it. He's not going to be able to go round the outside there, probably not. Tom holds the inside, and we're just going to try and get ourselves onto that throttle. You can also see in the wing mirror P4 starting to catch us up in this race, and yeah, it's such a shame that this race was not a little bit longer. If this race would have been 6 laps, definitely would have done more racing on this, especially in VR. It just needed them 2 extra laps. You can see we're already on the final lap, and it's really developing into a really good race. This as we can have a little look up on the inside there. Not going to be able to go for a move, but again, looking up the inside, just trying to put the Spanish driver under some pressure to see if we can misplace his car a little bit through here, because it's very easy to hit that curve wrong like he does there, almost losing control. And again, I had to kind of take a weird line because I just cannot see where I'm going. But yeah, maybe the Citroen's not the best choice for visibility. There's better cars that we could have gone for seeing where we're going, but I just wanted to use this car for, you know, it's got such an unusual cockpit, it'd be worth a go. But P2, you can see Spanish driver going for a move on Tom, tiny bit of contact. He manages to make that move, but now we're ahead of Tom, and he's side by side. You see I'm having to look to the right to see where he is, but I know now we've got the left-hand corner, just trying to keep an eye on him, and through here I'm going to have to give him space on the right hand side, but brake a little bit deeper. That puts us up into the podium position, and now we're going to try and hold on through here. He's now on the left hand side of us. I can just about see it on the radar. He's having a look down the right, but he's not going to be able to send it there. And now we're into this long right hand corner where we're going to try and hold on to the podium position. This was so intense in VR, I cannot describe to you. This felt like I was in a real race. It's absolutely amazing the feeling you're getting when doing these races in VR. I'm so glad that we started to do these races on the VR Sunday, because it's absolutely brilliant. So into the braking zone, holding the inside, managing to keep him on the outside, and then as we get on the throttle, you can see, because we're taking that tighter line, big moment on the rear, just about managed to save it, and now it's going to be a drag race all the way to the finishing line. You can see the McLaren, he's going down the left hand side. You can see I'm looking at his car out my window, and we just somehow managed to keep ourselves in that P3 and take the podium position. So a photo finish right at the end there on VR Sunday. I hope you enjoyed that video. Do subscribe to the channel if you did. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it. And yeah, hit that like button. It all helps me out massively. Thanks again for watching, everyone.